Welcome to Google Classroom Originality Reports. And we're doing it in Pear Deck. So if you have already joined the Pear Deck, please answer this question as to what do you know about originality reports in Google? So you should have a multiple choice. I have never heard of them. I have heard of them, but I've never used of them. I have tried using originality reports, and I use them regularly. Great. So if I show the responses, you can see that we have some people that have tried using originality reports, which is great to hear. I'm going to give you kind of an overview, and then if those of you who are here have questions about how it's working, or maybe that will help clear things up for you, but maybe at the end you'll go, okay, now I understand them a little bit better. Great. Excellent. So let's talk about what are originality reports. So originality reports allow you to check your work for originality. So when a teacher enables it, a student can then check their work for originality. So it checks it against any web pages and books that are already on the internet. The student can check it before they submit their work. And then when a teacher checks it after a student has submitted it, they will actually get a report that will link to any detected sources and flag any text that is not cited. So if a student doesn't cite their work, the teacher will get notification of that within Google Classroom. Now, because we have Google Workspace Plus, you can run unlimited originality reports in Google Classroom. So where can you find it? In the Google Classroom assignment. So I'm going to take you through this and show you a little bit about this, but I want to kind of give you a little bit of information first, and then I'll walk you through how you set them up. You can see here, there's just this check plagiarism for originality box that you check on an assignment, and it's set up. It's that easy. So just some teacher information. You can view your originality reports for 45 days. So once you run them, they stay there for you for 45 days. After 45 days, you can run another report to sort of update it if those assignments are still pending for some of your students, which we would hope after 45 days, we don't need to run them again. And when you do run them, while you can run them as many times as you want, students can only run 3 reports on their work before they turn it in. And you will not see the reports that students run, but you'll just see the ones that you run. So it kind of gives you a little bit of, the students a little bit of autonomy. And then just some size files, they can't exceed a file of 2 megabytes, which shouldn't be a problem for any of the work your students are submitting in Google Docs. It does search everything that's on, so if it can be found in Google and Google Books, then it will be flagged. We also have set up school matches, which will check for matches against any other student work within Linwood. So as more students submit work and teachers use originality reports, then those will start to build up a database to have that work checked against as well. So right now, when you start running them, since so few teachers are using them, we will not see as many flags for those work for replications of any work in Linwood Unified. But as time goes on, if we continue using them, that will be cross-referenced. How often can a teacher run an originality report per assignment? And you have a few options there. 3 times, 5 reports per classroom, or unlimited. Let me just show you your responses thus far. For those of you who have, we seem to be split about 3 times per assignment and unlimited. So teachers have unlimited assignments that they can run their reports, and they can run it unlimited times. It's the students who have 3 times per assignment. I'm going to just pop on over to a Google Classroom to show you what this looks like. So let's start with how you create an assignment that has an originality report. So since we're checking for essays, all we need to do is click Create Assignment. We would set up our assignment similarly. So let's just say, I'm going to call this Thanksgiving history because I already have one on Halloween history. Any instructions I want to add, any resources I want to add, just like any other writing assignment that I might give my students. So perhaps I've given them a YouTube video to view, a website link for them to do some research on, but I want them to write an essay on Thanksgiving history. I would put that in my instructions and all of that. Over here, after I've assigned the due date, let's just have it due right before Thanksgiving, and I'll create a topic later. All I need to do is click check plagiarism, and this is ready to go. So once I assign this to students, they will have that option to check for plagiarism. So let me click assign, and this is ready to go. Okay, it's up here. When you go to the assignment, it's going to look exactly the same under your instructions. Nothing looks any different. On the student side, when I go to Thanksgiving history and view the assignment, you will see here that the work says Originality reports available. So the student can see that you've added that feature. So you don't have to add this to every assignment. You can, if it's related to Google Docs and it's in Google Classroom and it's an essay that you want them to write or report, you can activate that for those writing assignments. And students will see that Originality reports are available. Let me show you what that looks like on an active writing assignment. So here's Halloween history. It's probably not a good example. I haven't written anything as the student. But if I open this up and let's just say I'm a student and I just head on over here, type in Halloween history. I'm like, okay, let me just go here. Oh, I really don't want to do this assignment. I'm just gonna do this because unfortunately we know that some of our students do this. Okay, and I'm just pasting it. It's done. Once I come back over to Google Classroom, now I can run the report. So students will see this here, and I'll show you what this looks like on the teacher side as well. Students would click run, and they have 2 Originality reports left. That's because I was demoing this earlier, and I already used 1. So students do get this message that they have 2 more remaining. Click run. And you will see that it is percentage-wise, it's working, it's magic, the AI, the computer's working its way through, and it is finished. So students can actually look on this before they turn in their work. So if they were to click on View Originality Report, they can see this whole thing is web matches. When I click it, it shows the passage that I wrote and the top web match, which was history.com, which is where I went to copy this. So it does show that. Student can look at it as a count, as a numbers, or a percentage. 100% of my content has been flagged. So that's a problem. So as a student, I'm like, okay, I need to go back and revise. I need to cite my work, whatever I have been instructed to do by my teacher. On the teacher side, however, let me show you what this looks like. So in classwork, I'm going to go to this Halloween history one because some of our students, that would be our coaches, have turned it in. So I'm going to view assignment. I'm going to click on digital student. And here's a student that has 5 flagged passages. That's a problem. So I click on 5 flagged passages, and you can see it looks the same as the students would see it, but the student didn't bother to run the report. They've got the count, percentage. So this is 84% of this content is flagged. 13% of it is cited, so that's good. They did some citing. And if I click on certain sections, it takes me to the different areas where that was flagged and the websites that are on. This was on Facebook, which actually we looked this up. Someone on Facebook posted this, copied and pasted it from somewhere else. So it's showing a double flag because that same information was on another website. So you can see all of the different websites the student went to. Like, oh, they went to countryliving.com. And you can see that it's highlighted over here in the middle as to where the student's information came from. And then there's the website. You can even click on the website and it will redirect you to that website. And it's going to show you where the website was that the student went to. So you can go look at the website that the student was on as well. So you've got lots of things you can do within it. And then here is where matches from Linwood Unified School District would show up, again, as we build that database. You can also print a report. So you can click on this print icon, and you will see it's got this course name, which is your classroom. You've got your student's name, the name of the assignment, when the report was created, all the information where they went, and then full details about what was copied and pasted. So you could print this out to have a conversation with the student. You could print this out if you need to have some evidence for a parent conference that this information is here. And if we go back over here, you still have the same capacity that you normally do when you're grading. You can add a grade here. You could send a comment because you don't want to grade this yet because you maybe want the student to revise. You can, if you want, you can highlight over here and add a comment and say this appears to need citing because they didn't cite the work. So it is set up perfectly. So there's that you can comment on the student work. And then you can also return the student work. So it's all set. Remember, you can move through your students here. Now, I know one of my students who turned this in did not plagiarize. So there's no flag passages on this student. And here's why. This student cited their work. So their student work is cited. So there's no flag passages. And you can move through your students. So here's someone who hasn't turned in any work. And you'll notice here it just says check plagiarism. So if the report hasn't been submitted, I think I have some students I haven't checked their work yet. Let me see. Okay, so myself, I as a student haven't turned it in yet, but if I want, I can check the plagiarism and then it will check it and go through that same process for students. True or false? Students can run an unlimited amount of originality reports for one assignment. Is this true or false? All right, it looks like we've got 6 active people on the Pear Deck. That's great. And you are all spot on. It is false. Does anyone remember how many they have? 3, correct. That is correct. Students can run 3 originality reports. Teachers don't see it. They can then continue working on their work. They will get their messages. If it's the first one they've ever done, they will get this pop-up. Compare your text with text from the web. They click got it, they click run, and they're good to go on their next one. And then they'll get that message. So it shows them how many they've done. And then they can work their way through. And again, they have 3 out of, this is a fresh one, so they have 3 left. They click on their work, you can see that it's working, and then they can view their report. So their summary shows the same thing that teachers see as well. And then we have some resources for you. So all of these are clickable. You will get a takeaway at the end that will have all these links. So if you miss something, these are just the information from Google. But if you at the end of this, you'll get a takeaway from Pear Deck. It's a Google Doc that'll have all of the information that we've shared. So you'll have a copy of our slides in image form. And then everything that's linked will also have a link that you can link to. So you can view all of these resources that are there for you. So one final question as we head towards 3:30. How can originality reports be beneficial to you and your students? So if you would take a quick moment to write your response as to how you can use originality points. How are these beneficial to you and how are they beneficial to your students?
We really do hope you are excited about this feature. Since, as Kathleen mentioned earlier, we have Education Plus, you do have that ability to run an unlimited amount of originality reports, whereas a district who does not have that can only run, I believe it was 5.
It was either 3 or 5. I think it was initially 3, but they bumped it up to 5 per classroom. So you have to be very strategic about what 5 essays or short answers or anything that you were giving your students before you had Plus.
And lots of great answers. Thank you for participating. Some of you stated that students can now make sure that they cite sources and paraphrase. that you can check within Google Classroom instead of having to copy and paste a student's work and go into Google to search that way. I know that's how I used to do it.
Right? Or if you had access to another tool that would check it for you, you don't have to worry about that now. It's built in.
Mhm. And yes, it will force them to double check their work. Absolutely. If they know that you're running an originality report.
Right. And I like that someone said, you know, learning how to do that will help prepare them for college. Absolutely.
And as Kathleen mentioned earlier, since the students can run their own reports 3 times per assignment, you know, they can check themselves before they officially submit their work to you.
Right. And that's what a lot of you are writing too. And I saw someone write something about academic integrity.
Mhm.
Absolutely. This is just another way to check for academic integrity. Wonderful. Wonderful responses,
Thanks
folks.
for participating.
So we thank you for being here.